Hello and welcome for the first round of the KOTE online tournament. And small disclaimer, this is my first game, and the KOTE tournament this time is in a Tesla format, which means that week by week we will switch between Archon and reversal mode, and being the first round we're playing in Archon. Looking at the deck list, okay, first of all, my opponent, Nirvash, he's got a very cool diss, and let me just look at it thinking how I want to react to that. 77 SARS seems fairly high. This is highest than my highest deck. I see he's got chains, he's got power, lots of tools, a very heavy Sanctum side, so an Arise, 2 shooters, and a package in shadows that seems to be fairly efficient. I know my deck. I've picked it because I felt it was going to be more of a reactive kind of thing, something difficult to handle by my opponent, both playing it and playing against it. It's got definitely some weaknesses, but rather than describing it, let me walk you into the game. Just thinking, when I'm looking at my opponent, what am I thinking? He doesn't have a heavy steel. He doesn't have a good strong way to control my Ember. There's the Schulers with the Arise, there's a couple of Frankuses, Raiding Knights, and the Relentless Whispers, but overall I think I can outpace him if I'm playing enough cards. So let's see how it goes. So let's start. My starting hand is not awesome, and I'm playing second, but I'm thinking I really like having Imperial Road in my hand, and I don't want to reshuffle, so I think I will play Imperial Road turn 1 and hope to get a good hand in Star Alliance for my second round. So I keep, and my opponent will be able to start. He hasn't mulliganed, so yep, going for shadows and playing the Seeker Needle. That's my turn. As planned, I go for Saurian, play Imperial Road, play the Coliseum. So looking back at his deck, it doesn't have much artifact control, so I'm hoping these things will stay longer. And I'm fantastic. I'm getting a very good hand in Star Alliance. Not perfect because the upgrades will be on the Karka, but still think it's worth it. Now here comes the big disaster. A turn at Sanctum, and Sanctum is got a heavy number of creatures. Fortunately, he stuns his Lady Maxena. And I'm thinking, if I'm playing the Karka will get killed. That's definitely not ideal, because I want the force field to be live. So I go for Brognar, play the Tremor on the Frankus, stun his board, and play the Alaka. This is the reasoning behind it. And now it's very good because I can play my full hand, and unless he unstuns his board now, this is live. So let's see. No, he goes for shadows, Seeker Needles my Alaka, plays a Shadow Self, which is quite annoying next to the Frankus, to be honest, and discards the Booby Trap. Relentless Whispers my Alaka, not great, but gives me a fantastic opportunity to clean my hand. So play the Karka with both upgrades, zap the Shadow Self, play Stealth Mode. Exactly, so I will play the Brutodon on the other side. I want 2 protected slots by Taunt. 2 slots protected by Taunt. So yep, deal 5 damage. stop him from playing actions next turn, and play my upgrades on the Karka. So there's not much he can do as a response to that. And now this is interesting because my hand is not great, but I can still play 3 to 4 cards depending on what I do and how much I want to keep my opponent as stern as possible. I've got my 4 Ember, and now I need to see how he responds to my attack. Okay, goes for this. And yeah, Schuler and another Schuler. Full disclaimer, this is a re-recording of the audio. I've seen that game before, so I know how it ends. He plays the Guardian Demon, which is a bit of a problem because he will be able to transfer some of the damage from the Shadow Self onto the Karka. And I need to mind that for the rest of the game. This is not an ideal situation for me. But he discards the key to this, which is good for me because my board is extremely important. I want my taunt creatures. Okay, so yep, I remember that play. I want this stun. I'm very fortunate. He's put all these creatures next to the others, and that's exactly what you should be doing if you look at my 4 Tremors. So I will go for Brock now. Yep. And let me play my Tremor. Poof. Play Mog Hunter, hide it behind the Brutodon. It will have some interesting consequences. Play my other creature, and yes, I can use my Imperial Road to put into play Paraguardian. Okay, so Alaka is left to play. I can either kill the Guardian Demon or go after the Shadow Self. And I think I go after the Guardian Demon. The reasoning is I can do it now. I don't want to later that action. I can't play the Coliseum, so I go on. Yes, and I get a really interesting hand in Starlines for my next round because I want to ward this Vislet and Karaka. To me, this is okay. Choosing Sanctum, he will handstand his board. That's very wise of him. Let's see how I go for this. Okay, he plays the Sanctum Guardian, and I think a Protectrix, very good. So going to Starlines, definitely, no doubt about that. I want to find my Kirby's as soon as possible. Now I have some stone creatures in play, I want my Kirby's. So first play Lay of the Land, I want to see what goes on here. Alright, I've got a Tremor, I've got Enchanted Lands and a Common Officer Kirby. I can't get the Tremor and the Kirby at the same time, which is really what would be ideal here. So I need to be a little bit more sneaky. And actually what I will do is plan to get the Tremor and the Kirby on my next round. So if I'm remembering correctly, I'll probably put back the Tremor and the Kirby and take on the Enchanted Lands. That's what makes most sense to me. Yep, put back the Tremor and the Enchanted Lands. Goes to my hand, probably. That I remember I was putting a lot of thought into that play because to me, I can't let him go on and on in Sanctum. I don't think I can manage this board. He's got way too much armor, way too many creatures, and I don't want to wipe my board either. Okay, so exactly as I said, I will play the Enchanted Lands. Remember, it doesn't have much control. I will play Morpheus, hide it behind the Karka, and I think I put the Cloaking Dongle on the Morpheus. I rip with Kaka. So now I've got a bunch of actions. I will activate Uncharted Lands. I will continue. Universal Force Field, of course, and then Universal Translator. My Mog Hunter is very good here because I can kill the Shadow Self. And deal 2 damages to the Protectrix. Very good. So now, this is a little bit the risk of that play. I end up with my opponent having 5 Sanctum in play. I cannot do much. All I can do is protect as much as possible my Starlines creatures. I will discard the Tarkan Pulse because I want to keep my artifacts. I can gain some speed with the Enchanted Lands, and I can Imperial Road is also very important. So now I've got a very good draw because I've got both Morpheus in play and the Kirby in my hand. So I can do some really cheeky stuff. Let's see how it goes. He goes in Sanctum as planned. And this is a play I'm not exactly sure what he was going for here. Because he went for my Kaka, got the elusive. So he gets the 2 damage from the Hazardous, but now he needs to attack 2 times again if he wants to be able to damage my creature. First, getting rid of the ward, and second, dealing with it. I've got 7 embers, he's got only 2, and I think it's a slight misplay on his end, because if he wants to deal with my board, he's got to attack full on to get rid of all the Star Alliance, and he stays at 2 ember. And that's probably what he's thinking about. The best he can do is capture 1. So, yeah. At this point, yeah, he attacks with Bulwark, and he will get the Ardadus all over the place. He will lose some creatures. I don't think this is what he wants. So what he does instead, changes his plan, a small misplay on his behalf maybe, and starts ripping. Well, knowing my deck, I would much rather keep the destroy all the Star Alliance. This is where I think this is a big turning point of the game. Here, I've got a strong advantage if this stays alive. Yeah. At the same time, he climbs to 6 ember, raiding knight, so he captures 1, but I can forge. And then to me, it's a bit of a no-brainer. I will play Star Alliance, I'm pretty sure. Because I've got a very decent board and an ability to clean my hand also pretty nicely if I do that. And remember, we have Enchanted Lands live, which gives me an enormous amount of speed. All I need to do is get as little trouble from the Sanctum as I can. And this is where it gets really interesting. So I will play Kirby to the right. The cool stuff is that with Morpheus, I get 2 triggers from Kirby, which is really, really nice. Okay. I will play Stenopius to the left. Yeah, I put 2 amber on it, and that's maybe a little bit of an oversight for me. I'm being too greedy. I'm thinking I've got my 6 amber in hand, and I'm being slightly greedy here. I have to remember he's got ways to be really annoying with my board. He's got the lights out and the hysteria, and that's probably a little bit of a mistake here for me. But I reap, get to Ember, reward my creature, play with Mog Hunter, and now Mog Hunter's got to... I think Mog Hunter is going to call for the Raiding Knight, makes more sense. I can deal 2 damage to someone else, I don't really care. I get my counter on the Coliseum. It's not that important, but I think it still matters to some case. Yeah, that was the plan. So actually, the reason why I shot at the Protectrix was to Berserker Slam the Protectrix, getting under Forge, and then, because I'm still thinking at my 6th Temper, and then I just stun his Sanctum board again. Yeah, and that's the end of my turn, and I get the tribute. So I get the tribute, I get the 6th Temper, and I have my Stenopius in play. So I'm definitely, if I can forge this, I can be on check next turn. That's really good. So he goes for Shadows. Probably he's got the Lights Out in hand. That's a bit of a problem. Master plan, Lights Out, as predicted. Well, so remove the ward from Karkar. Fair enough. And bring me back to hand the Stenopius. I still think this is... And Seeker Needle, my Mog Hunter. Okay, I would go for the Kirby, honestly. You need to go for the Jugular for this against this deck. So now I'm forging my 2nd key, and I'm looking at my Saurian hand. There's no way I can't. I'm doing this now. So let's go. And remember, the Morpheus is in play. So I am going actually to do a lot of work with Stenopius right now. So very simple. I'm going to play... Okay, unstun the Brutodon and the Power Guardian, play Stenopius. On the left, it doesn't matter really. Trigger Morpheus, trigger Stenopius. Tribute, Exalt. Yes, it's the strongest creature now, obviously. So now I will 6th Temper. I don't plan to keep the creature. I don't need. I would ward rather other ones. I play the Zero Centurion. Trigger Morpheus. So it's the 4th time that Morpheus has triggered in this game. And then I will reward my my Starlines board. And here it is. I think I'm good. It would be amazing if I could forge here with the Coliseum, but just not going to happen. And honestly, my board can't really deal with that. If I have a next turn, it's probably what I would do. Yeah, if it's my next turn would probably be trying to get for either a Forge with Coliseum or go again at Untamed. Place Control the Weak forces me into Saurian. Doesn't really matter. I have a perfect Saurian hand. Captures 3, but I'm still at 6. And honestly, if I'm at 6 at this point, I probably attack 3 times, put 3 counters, and here it is. I win. Honestly, I look at his deck. His deck is probably stronger on paper, but the cards came just in the right order, and getting in the same hand the Stenopius, the Tribute, and the 6th Emperor is just a killer. I've got it right at the moment. He can forge with 9 embers. I'm in a very good position, and the Tremors arrived in a very good pace, able to stop his business with their Sanctum. So I was very, very lucky, I think, but it puts me in a good position, and still I think this is a very good deck for a reversal. So thanks a lot, guys, and hopefully we can see the next round. in a week. Bye.